So with Mockingjay Part 1, even me, a person who kind of liked the movie, I can admit there were times where I was bored with that movie, but I was like, you know what? It's setting up Part 2 because Part 2 is going to be an intense, riveting battle. It's going to be so intense to the point where like, oh my gosh, so good. Everything's going to be tied up so nicely. All the characters are going to be developed so well. I thought that, and let's just say, I did not get that. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. So The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2, it is the finale, it's the last installment in the Hunger Games franchise. It is the film that all these films have been set up to. It is finally time for Katniss to lead the rebellion against the Capitol. It sounds riveting, right? That's what we're all thinking after Part 1. When I heard the Hunger Games Mockingjay is going to be split into 2 parts, and when I heard that the last book is the shortest book in the trilogy, yeah, right there I was like, okay, no, that doesn't sound like a good idea. And with the first film, you know, like how I said, it was times where it felt incomplete and it was pretty boring. It felt like they were really stretching it out. So I was like, okay, look, maybe let's see what happens with Part 2. Maybe Part 1 really did deserve it being stretched out. After seeing Part 2, I can say, nah. They shouldn't have been split into 2 parts. Now here's the thing I gotta say about the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. It is really disappointing. Now the movie's not bad. I didn't hate the movie. But oh my god, it's so disappointing. As an overall conclusion to the franchise, I was left dissatisfied. Before I get into the negatives of this film, let me talk about some of the positives, because there are positives of the film. For one, the biggest positive you can say from this franchise was definitely Jennifer Lawrence's portrayal as Katniss Everdeen. You see her progression throughout these films, and you know what? Jennifer Lawrence, she's a phenomenal actress. She kills it all the time. And in this movie, Jennifer Lawrence kills it again, especially in her dramatic scenes. Everyone else, too, in the film gave a great performance, except Liam Hemsworth. Everyone gave a great performance in the film. They were all really good in the roles. And for the action scenes, like the 1 or 2 action scenes that were in the movie, they were really well done and they were riveting. Some of the action scenes, when they were done, my gosh, man, you were on the edge of your seat because they were so well done. I can say that. And like with all these Hunger Games films, we've all seen the political subtext they have in them. And I really liked how in Part 1, you know, one of the things that I liked the most was the political subtext. And in this film, Part 2, they really have a political subtext that I really liked a lot. Because all these films, they have done that pretty well. And in this film, I felt it was a nice send-off, and it had a lot to say. And also, too, by the end of the film, I felt that it kind of wrapped some other things up pretty well. Some of the things that it wrapped up pretty well, I was like, wow, I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but the way that they wrapped up some of the things, I was like, wow, I was very satisfied with that. And some things I wasn't expecting at all, which I gotta give credit to the film. So those are the positives. It's time to talk about the negatives. First off, the biggest negative of this film is just that it doesn't feel like it's the last film in the Hunger Games franchise. You never feel throughout the film that these characters are in a war. It just feels like they're just going through, you know, a bunch of, you know, mazes here and there. And this movie does something that I was like, what? Did they actually just do that? They actually have a scene where there's a zooming shot and you see the battle over there. Like, it's like way over there. You see the rebels attacking the Capitol. You see explosions happening. You're like, whoa. What's going on over there? The film never shows the rebels going against the Capitol. It just shows Katniss and her team going through some mazes. Literally, this is all the film. This is what Mockingjay Part 2 is. Katniss and her team are going, little quick, not even an action scene, but a little quick, intense scene. Okay, alright, let's stay here. Alright, get back up. A little intense action scene. Okay, we're done. Okay, let's take a rest. Pretty much all of Mockingjay Part 2. And I'm never the one to say, oh, a film needed action, because I was like, you know what? Films don't need always action if they have a good story and develop the characters well. And especially this one, if they tie up some loose ends well, I would be fine with it. The film didn't do that. There was a lot of key details that they kind of glossed over that happened in the movie that I was like, wait a minute, did that just happen? And the film just kind of goes on. It's like, well, you're not going to do anything about that. Really? This is supposed to be the final installment, and I don't feel any intense things happening right now, and I just don't care about what's happening on screen. And look, I get it. The books, they probably did the same thing, but here's the thing. This is the movies. The books don't count. The books are the books, and the movies are the movies. They're obviously going to be different. So whatever they did in the books, it doesn't matter. The movies are an adaptation. It's not directly, it's not the exact book. Alright? And also too, by the end, the way they wrapped up some things, I felt it was kind of rushed, and I felt that it was like, really? They just kind of gloss over some problems that they introduced in this film. They just kind of gloss over, and I'm like, what? Really? So even though there were some things that I liked that they, concluded, there were some other things I was like, you could have went more in depth about that, but no, they didn't. So overall, Mockingjay Part 2 is a really, really disappointing film. It's not a bad film. I didn't hate it, but it just certainly could have been so much better. If you're a Hunger Games fan, you're obviously going to go see the film. But if you haven't seen any of the Hunger Games, you're like, oh, it's Part 2, it's the last one. Let me go see it. Don't. Save your money and see something else, because I'm going to give Mockingjay Part 2 a solid C. It feels like all the other movies were a waste because the way they were setting up for this final film, it just feels like a waste because really nothing happens. And that's the unfortunate truth. So guys, that's my review for Mockingjay Part 2. What did you guys think of the film? Did you guys like it, or did you find it disappointing like how I did? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice day.